Hey guys, thank you so much for joining us today. So the topic for today is proactive strategies with AWS WAF and bot control to minimize DDoS impact. So my name is Devansh Kothavde and I am a sales executive at Cloud.in. So in this webinar, we'll be exploring how you can leverage AWS native tools to detect threats faster, centralize your security posture, and automate responses across your cloud environment. So before starting this session, I would like to mention a few points. All attendees are muted by default and cannot be unmuted during the session. We will have a question and answer session after the end of the presentation. If in case you have any questions in between the session, please raise an electronic hand to grab the speaker's attention or ask a question through the question section. So for today's webinar, I've got Devansh Agrawal, who is a senior cloud consultant at AWS, to walk you through the WAF and bot control features by AWS. So now I'll give a brief overview about Cloud.in and pass the mic to Devansh to start the session. All right, so Cloud.in is powered by the legacy and expertise of Hosting Services Private Limited, which has in and around 26 years of industry experience. We are AWS advanced consulting partners, and cybersecurity is a strong point. Cloud.in is a leading provider of AWS managed services, migration services, and edge security services. Our team consists of more than 100 certified cloud consultants. We provide 24 by 7 every day, all year, live customer care and technical support to our customers. Right. So these are all of our AWS expertise, which we have achieved so far. So this list includes WAF delivery, migration and modernization, and well-architected partner program and Microsoft workloads with the others, as you can see on your screen. Right. So as you can see, government, IT, EdTech, media and entertainment are some of the industry verticals we closely work with. And we also work with the other industry verticals mentioned on your screen. All right, so as an organization, the services we majorly provide are cloud implementation and migration, managed cloud services, artificial intelligence, machine learning implementation and management, content delivery networks, media and edge services. Right. So these are some of the products and services that we have built in-house. So CloudFront version Vault offers a better way to manage and back up your content delivery network. Evalix.ai is something that we have recently developed. So it is a AI interviewer tool which simplifies interview scheduling and offers both present and AI generated questions for practice or real interviews. So freedom is also a thing which we had developed quite a long ago, but we are planning to revamp it and launch it again in the market. So it is a multi-cloud billing and management platform, helps track costs, optimize spending, and manage multiple cloud services easily. Right. So why us? So that is because we offer assured quality, strong security. We are always available 24 by 7, 365 days because we have our knock and sock support, which works 24 by 7 all year. So we also offer better flexibility, optimize expenses, and you won't get any surprise bills if you are a partner with Cloud.in. So we work as a part of your team. We support businesses of all sizes We also go to the extra mile for you, and we are your trustworthy partners. All right. So this is the agenda for today. So I will now be passing on the mic to Devansh Agarwal, a cloud consultant, a senior cloud consultant at AWS, and he will be going through all of the features with AWS WAF and bot control. So I hope you enjoy the session ahead.
Thank you,
Over to
Devansh.
you.
Yep. Just give me the control for presenting.
Sure, we are just doing that now.
All right. Hope my screen is visible. Is my screen visible? Are you guys able to see? Just give a thumbs up.
Yes, Devansh, it is visible.
All right. So my name is Devansh. I've been with AWS from past 6 years, and I have total 10 years of industry experience. I specialize in cybersecurity. And today I'll talk about WAF, bot control, and how you can strategically design your application to minimize those impacts, which is done by those malicious actors. Right. So today's agenda, first we'll understand what is the threat landscape look like. And as you have seen between India and Pakistan geopolitical tensions, there was a lot of government guidance and there was a lot of news that the attacks on digital infrastructure is increasing on a daily basis. So similarly, we'll see how AWS can help you to improve your security posture using couple of services that we provide to protect your perimeter. And there are certain guidelines that we can talk about how you can get started, how you can protect your web application. And there's one interesting thing that we have it for you, and this time we are doing it differently. That is something called hands-on workshop. Well, we'll provide you the burner account, which is of AWS, and it will have a set of scenarios, like 5 or 6 scenarios, which also includes bot control scenario. So if you follow those instructions, and if you're able to use those instructions as per the guideline, you will be able to see that how you can prevent bot, how you can understand what kind of malicious traffic is coming to your application. So this workshop is created for you. And at the end of the session, I'll share you the link where you can just download it and start doing that workshop. All right, let's get started. So let's understand about the threat landscape, right? So whenever we talk about the threat landscape from the perimeter point of view, there are two variety of category. One is the denial of service attack. Second is the application vulnerability attack, right? When we're talking about denial of service attack, the attack vector mostly revolves around the volumetric of traffic in the nature, right? So for example, we have SYN flood attack, which is very common, which happens mostly in layer 3, layer 4. We have HTTP flood attacks, which target your layer 7, right? So these are the attack vector which comes under denial of service. The idea can be very different. The idea can be to bring down your system with so much volume that you're not able to process any further request. So your genuine request will not be catered by your application, and your actual customer or consumer will not be able to access your application. That is one of the motivation. Second motivation that we are seeing as a rising trend nowadays, uh, with this all advanced technique, is DDoW attack. You might have heard about DDoS attack, but now I'm talking about DDoW attack. That is something denial of wallet attack. What attackers are doing, they're not bringing down your system, but they're sending large enough volume to cause you a financial loss. And lot of workload nowadays we are seeing are hosted in cloud, right? In cloud, you pay for each request that you process. So imagine someone is sending you extra 1,000 requests, extra 20,000 requests, right? Those are the requests. If you're not controlling it, if you're not filtering it, you end up processing till the end of your backend application, right? And you end up paying for those. So that is another vector of threat that we are seeing in this particular category. Second is the application layer attack, and trust me, this has been quite trending nowadays as compared to infrastructure layer attack. Application attacks, we are seeing much more sophistication, much more advancement, AI being the talk of the center, and attackers are using bot. They are obviously making them advance using those AI technology and all, and they're able to craft those sophisticated attack, do scraping, do do lot many things. Even now using application layer attack, they're also performing a DDoS attack. Application layer vector, they're also performing a DDoS attack, right? So this attack vector targets your, maybe if you're having a SQLi application, they will target with SQLi attack. If you are having some tech stack, right, where it can target you with cross-site scripting, command injection, there can be many variety of attack. And common ones which we are getting in, which we are seeing as a trend, are getting into a bot attacks and the fraud attacks. All right, so I think anyway I showed that in the screen, but my question was, do you know how much percent of overall internet traffic are the bot traffic? It's 47%. It's an astonishing number, right? Because if you see that, it's close to half of all the internet traffic is bot traffic. But what I'm trying to say over here is, it does not mean that all the bot traffic is a bad traffic. There are good bots as well, which helps you with SEO optimization, ranking, monitoring, automations and all, right? But at the same time, there are bad bots as well, which do a lot of this, some of this malicious activity, like content scraping, account takeover fraud, card cracking. They will try multiple card attempts, account creation fraud. They will create a lot of fake accounts, so you end up processing those, your database become overconsumed, your resource becomes overconsumed. Scalping, denial of service. There can be variety of other attacks which can be performed by the bots, but these are some of the example which bad bots do it on your infra, right? So what do we understand by this? We understand that there are bots, there are good bots, there are bad bots, but we need an effective management of those. Bad bots we want to block, good bots we want to allow, right? So as I was talking about from the bot perspective, now let's see from the DDoS perspective. As I was explaining, there's a geopolitical tension, and there has been a lot of news out there in the media where there are a lot of public infrastructure and non-public infrastructure which was targeted by Pakistan, China, and all, right? The DDoS motivation can be anything. It can be extortion, it can be geopolitical region, it may be someone is trying to bring down your reputation, competition, someone is bored, warfare, cyber warfare, as we have seen recently. And one of the things which I already spoken about, that is something called DDoW attack, attacking on your wallet, basically trying to increase your consumption or increase your billing. So these are the trend that we are seeing nowadays in this particular category of the DDoS. So what happens, right, if you do not control it? If you think from the business perspective, let's say if I do not do anything about this, then what can happen to the business? Obviously there can be variety of things which can happen. It can obviously increase your infrastructure cost. You need a lot of intervention, manual intervention would require to see where the attack is coming from, what exactly impact it is causing. There can be lost income, there can be stolen data, right? That's where the first line of defense starts. If you're not controlling it, attackers can get into a system, can steal the data, can leak it in dark web, right? All those things can these are some of the category, but there can be many other impact, right? So just the idea is to show you that if you do not control the threat, it can ultimately lead to your business impact. All right, so what do we do about it? So there are a lot of attack vector, there are advanced attacks, there are AI attacks, there are bot attacks, there are DDoS attacks, there are many things, right? Now it all boils down to how well threat intel you have as a product. So if you have a good threat intel, then obviously you will be able to provide a better protection or a comprehensive protection, right? So let's see how AWS deals with this threat intelligence and how AWS gather this threat intelligence to put this into our service to provide you a comprehensive protection. So when we talk about AWS is massive, right? When we talk about the data center, when we talk about the edge location, POP location, if you see, these are all very well connected. So we are everywhere across the world. And more than, if you see the number, right, more than trillion DNS requests we process every single day. 1,25,000 new malicious domain we are detecting every day. So this level of scale we are operating. And how we are gathering the threat intelligence? So what we have essentially done is we have placed a sensors. So if you have heard about something called matpot, like matpot network or honeypot network, right? So honeypot network, honeypot is a technique. I'd not say honeypot network, but it's a honeypot technique. If you have heard about it, what in honeypot, what we do, we deploy a decoy application and keep it vulnerable. So if attacker attack that application, then we learn the technique of the attacker and put that as a threat intel to our service, right? This is the functioning of the honeypot, right? On the similar technique, that is something we have designed as a AWS in-house. It's publicly available. If you just search for matpot, it's the engineering that we did, and we have deployed multiple sensors across our point of presence, across our data center. And what those sensors are doing, those sensors are observing 100 million plus daily attacks, right? 500K, we are able, around request, we are able to classify malicious. So this level of intelligence we are gathering from our large presence across our data center and across our network. And because of these sensors, we are able to provide you much more comprehensive protection, because we are aware of latest trend, we are aware of latest threat, and using all this threat intel, these are the service where we inject all this threat intel. For example, WAF, seal, guardability, network firewall, VPC, and all. If I have to give you a very specific example from the WAF standpoint, so if you deploy a WAF, there is a rule called IP reputation rule, Amazon IP reputation rule. What does it do? So Amazon IP reputation rule is derived from our those sensors, right? And what it does, if any IPs are doing a bad activity around the internet, we keep track of those IP and we provide you that as an input, because Amazon itself gets a lot of attack, right? So using that IP reputation gives you a good level of protection if you are thinking to block based on IP reputation, which is known to do a DDoS attack or malicious activity over the internet. So that level of intelligence we are putting into our these services. So since the scope of this talk is on the WAF, I'll jump in right away on the WAF. So what is WAF? So WAF is a web application firewall. So when I say web application firewall, WAF sits on the layer 7. It can help you to inspect layer 7 traffic. It can help you to detect attacks which is happening on the layer 7, maybe a bot attack, fraud attack, or any kind of attack which is happening on the layer 7. WAF provides you a layer security control. What do you mean by layer security control? So you can have a control where you can design multiple layer security parameter. For example, I want to check login page, I want to apply OS top 10, I want to apply bot rule, I want to apply IP reputation, rate limiting, and all. These are the layer control that you can design using WAF. And trust me, it is very low operation overhead. Just cost you $5 per month to start with, and there are rules and the request cost, and it can get easily integrated with your application. So I have a diagram for it, how it quickly get integrated with your application, and it's quite easy to set up as well, and you can customize based on your need and requirement. So what are the application WAF can help you to protect? WAF can help you to protect a web application which is running on, let's say, load balancer, CloudFront, or let's say if you're running some API workload, then you can also protect WAF directly with your API gateway. Or even if you're running a GenAI workload, WAF can also help you to protect the GenAI application. Or if you are running, let's say, CloudFront, right? This is the where WAF can directly sit at the CloudFront location itself and help you to filter out those malicious traffic which is coming on the layer 7. So this is how the architecture look like when we apply a WAF to our AWS resources. So let's say you may be using CloudFront, load balancer, API gateway, or any of these services. You can apply a WAF over here. And if a normal user comes in, obviously they will get inspected by the rules that you have created on the WAF. If it is a genuine one, it will go to your resources, or else it will get blocked and it will start getting a 403 error, right? And even if you want to if you want to protect your on-premises workload, this is the architecture you can follow. Instead of, so right now I have a direct connect, but let's say if you want to have a VPN, that can also be done. So WAF can protect your AWS application, wherever AWS workload which is in AWS, as well as workload which is in on-premises. All right, so let's see how WAF deals with bot and fraud, right? Because that's the focus of this session. We'll dive in what are the bots, how WAF helps you to prevent the bot, what are the different type of bot category WAF provides you, and how you can design your application security using WAF. So what is a bot, right? Bot is something which is running, if I have to read this, like internet bot, web robot, or simply bot is a piece of software or a script which is running in an automated way, right? And as I mentioned, bot can be good, bot can be bad. It does not mean that just listening the bot term is a bad. No, there are good bots as well, but there are bad bots as well. So these are the two broad category we have divided the bot into. What's important is to manage the good bots and prevent the bad bots. So that should be the key key mindset that should be following whenever we are designing the bot solution for our workload. And one of the thing, if you go back in the time, right, you will see that first the attack used to happen from a single IP that we used to call it a DOS attack, denial of service attack from a single source. Then slowly attack evolved with multiple IP. Then you apply a rate limit. What attacker do? Attacker just keep the request below that rate limit. Then attacker started randomizing the user agent, browser impersonation, JavaScript. So what I'm trying to tell with this slide is attacks are evolving. Bots are evolving, right? Whatever the solution you deploy, that has to be well aware of current trend and current attack pattern. So evolving bot design is a challenge. And having that threat intel, which I spoken about earlier, gives us an advantage where we can provide you a comprehensive and sophisticated protection for your entire bot threat. All right, so let's see how AWS solution, what is the AWS solution to mitigate bot attacks. So to start with, we have two category of the bot control. One is the common one and second is the targeted one. Common one are those bot control, those bot activity, or to detect those bot activity, which is plain and simple. So for example, there is a user agent which is saying I'm a Google bot, but is that a Google bot? How do we confirm that? So we can check the IP. From the IP, we check the reverse DNS lookup. Is that request coming from the Google network? Then when we match that both, then we are able to understand, yes, what it is saying, what it is claiming is correct. So similarly, we have created a list of good bots or a verified bot, and at the same time we also checks for those bot which are not verified and which is claiming that they are saying is correct or not. That we do it with the help of common bot protection. So if you have a bot problem which is just a very simple problem which is coming with a different user agent but not able to verify their IP, then you can go with a common bot. But there's something called targeted bot as well. This targeted bot is a very sophisticated bot attacks where attackers behaves like a human, but they are not human. In order to detect those, we are using something called token and we are using something called machine learning. And I will show you in a couple of slides that how are we using token and how are we gathering those telemetry to provide you that intelligence to prevent this sophisticated bot attack. So as I was talking about, there are common bot, and in the common bot, you can directly add that to the WAF. You can also customize the action. So let's say there are bots which is verified one. For example, I'll take an example of Google bot that is much more relevant, right? But Google bot, let's say you want to customize the action instead of allowing it directly, you want to rate limit that, because a lot of time if Google is sending a lot of bot traffic, it might also impact your performance, right? You can customize the action instead of let's say allow, you want to count it, or you want to monitor it, or you want to block it, right? Or you want to challenge it or capture it. Those are the actions you can customize on each of the category of the bot that you are seeing. And you can also rate limit those. Let's say you do not want to allow more than X number of requests coming from Facebook bot or wherever, right? That also you can customize. Similarly, as you can see, we have automated browser detection, we have SEO category bot detection, we have AI category bot detection, HTTP library. A lot of time attacker use some Python script to generate those high number of requests, right? So these are the category which can help you to prevent those kind of attacks. So as you can see, there are multiple actions you get for each of the category that you saw on my screen. Like you have allow, block, count, captcha, and challenge. So we'll deep dive on the challenge. There is something which we use extensively on the targeted bot. Allow is self-explanatory, whether you want to allow something. Block, let's say if if you have written a rule that you want to block directly. Let's say if you do not want to allow any bot coming from, let's say, Pakistan or China, then you can just select the override to block. Right? Similarly, we have captcha, like interactive captcha, where user has to solve a challenge. User has to solve a captcha. Similarly, we have something called challenge, and we will see in a couple of slides that how the challenge works. So with common bot, it's quite easy to get started. There is no code integration required. So once you are into WAF, and in the workshop, you will see how easy it is to get started with the common bot control. You just select which all bot control you want and add that to rule, and it is as easy to get started, right? It can help you to manage self-identifying bot. It can also verify that where what the request is claiming is correct or not, right? Unverified bots can get blocked by default. And what we have seen effectively is false positive rate are less than 0.01%. So you can be quite confident if you're going and developing your solution using common bot. Okay, so let's see from the architecture standpoint, how does the common bot request flow looks like? So imagine this is the cloud environment, this is your application, this is the WAF that we have deployed, and this is the rule engine that we have. And there's a normal user, malicious user who are coming, right? So you can have multiple rule, like you can have rate limiting, geo block, whatever the rules you want. And there would also be a bot control rule with as a part of the WAF rule engine. Once the request come to the WAF rule engine, it will send the traffic to the bot and fraud detection. Right? Since we're talking about the common bot, what will happen? It will check the signature. Basically, it will check the user agent and all. And at the same time, it will do the reverse DNS ranges lookup. What the bot is claiming is correct, coming from the correct network or not. So let's say if it is correct one, if it is a verified one, then what it will do, it will follow the green line. And if you have applied a rate limit for the verified bot, because a lot of customers do that, they do not want to, even though they are verified, they do not want to allow everything. They still want to rate limit them. They will get rate limited. Let's say if it is below the rate limit, then it will lend to your application. But imagine if a malicious users are coming in, right? Then again, it will go through this workflow. And let's say there's a detection where we have detected that it's a malicious one, then the request will get stopped then and there itself. It will not even lend to your application. And there will be a 403 or a custom response that you want to send that would be sent to the malicious actor. So this is how the common bot request flow look like from the architecture standpoint. All right. So this was the common bot, which is like very easy to identify, easy to detect. If I have to do manually, that also I can do. I can just check, take the user agent, and I can do a little reverse engineering with their IP and try to map it. I'll be able to do it. So it's quite simple to achieve the common bot. And having that managed bot protection with different category with AWS Web provides you that flexibility. But bot are not that simple whenever we are talking about the sophisticated bot attacks or a complex bot attacks, right? These are the bot which potentially a malicious bot, and they're trying to evade your protection that you applied, and also emulate the human behavior. So they will act like a human. So if you just check their user agent, you will not be able to understand, or you will not be able to tell that whether it's a correct one or it's a genuine one or not genuine one, right? So for that, we need little advanced technique to detect them. And how do we do that? We'll see now. So for targeted bot, obviously, what are the objectives? There can be variety of objective, but there are few of them. We have listed it over here. So the idea is to basically increase the cost for the bot operator. See, whatever the security product you are taking from the market, right? No one can tell you that it provides you 100% or 200% comprehensive protection. Whatever the security product you take, you need to design in a such a way that you increase the cost for the attacker. Once you increase the cost for the attacker, obviously they will go away. They will not come to your application because they also have a limited resource. They do not have a infinite resource. They also have a finite resource, which also comes with the cost. If you're able to make more complex, right, then they will go away and their costing will increase, right? So also identify the client connection to the application, learn its property. Obviously, wherever the client and however the client is connecting to your application, if you are able to identify where they're coming, how they're coming, their fingerprinting and all, right, then you are able to take a lot of those intelligence like client interrogation, acquiring telemetry, uniquely identifying client, tracking client, right? All those things, if you're able to do, you will be able to apply a more advanced strategy. And also if you're able to analyze the client behavior and detect anomaly in the traffic, that is wonderful, right? That is something can be done with the data science and machine learning. Now we'll see how targeted bot provide you this strategy or this technique to do all this or to meet this all objective. All right, so let's see how challenge fingerprinting and proof of work actually works. So there's a client who is coming to the WAF. First, the request will come to the WAF. I'm talking on the targeted bot side, how actually it works. Then what WAF will do? WAF will throw a redirect to, and it will basically a challenge. And it's a challenge option. Under that challenge, we have a redirect. Where we are redirecting? We are redirecting client to our token server, right? And if the client is correct, if it's a genuine browser, it will solve that challenge by using our token server, right? And once he or she is able to solve the challenge, we'll allocate a token to that request. Any following request coming from that client, we expect that token to be there on that request. And while we assign the token to the client, we also collect the client telemetry when they are executing that script. What do I mean by telemetry? Basically, to understand client behavior, client fingerprinting, browser fingerprinting, client timestamp, client IP, all those things we take into account and we create a hash out of it, so that we understand that if the same client is coming again and again, we can do the behavior analysis, we can detect uh, their their way of connecting to us, we can detect their fingerprinting, a lot of things we can we get that get collected while we are assigning the token. And if it's a verified token which has been issued by WAF, AWS WAF, then the request with the token will come in, and then only the request will get allowed. If it's unverified one, we'll be able to block then and there itself. So this is how the challenge and fingerprinting and proof of work in action. And this is how we are able to detect the advanced bot or sophisticated bot. As you can see, this is how the token look like. If I have to go each component one by one, if you see, the AWS WAF token would be part of the cookie parameter. Once the client gets the token, it will come under a cookie from the client side. It will consume, it will basically do a lot of things, but there are few of things that we have highlighted. It will basically capture timestamp, browser ID, browser fingerprinting, violation, everything. And this token is tamper proof. No one can tamper it. So if you just even try to tamper it, the next request from the client will fail. It will not even work. This also helps us to allow and identify the unique client which are coming to your application, right? So with the help of this token, we are able to do a lot of intelligence behind it. So, okay, so these are the targeted bot control rule looks like in a broad view, right? So as you see, the rule which is names with ML, these are all using machine learning behind the scene to understand uh, coordinated activity. So I'll just give you one example, one of the customer example, obviously not naming them, but just an example. So there was a attack which customer was observing, and the attack was coming in a such a way that it was behaving like a flash mob. So if you have heard about flash mob, so what happens, there would be a group of people which will start doing same activity at the same time, right? So what it was happening in this particular customer case, it was a travel website which used to provide ticket and all. As soon as they start running a sale event, this group of attacker will come and start buying those ticket, and later on reselling it at a premium price. That we saw little we that we saw also over here, right? There was a lot of conference and events which was happening where attackers was buying the ticket and selling in 10x or 20x price, right? How they were doing it, they were using bot, obviously. So this coordinated activity, we are able to detect it by using targeted bot control. If someone is trying to perform same kind of activity using different network and doing the same time, we are able to detect it. As you can see on my screen, on the second point, where we say that if the token is not there, right, obviously, then the client has not solved the challenge, and trying to bypass that, then we are able to detect it. And one of the interesting thing that we have seen, that what attacker was doing, since we have implemented this targeted bot, what attacker was doing, attacker was sending first request as genuine one, and the following request he was just copying the token and reusing it again and again. So if the token reuse happens, if someone is copying the cookie token and again crafting that request, those requests are also we are able to detect it. And if it is with the ASN, with the IP, with the country, all those advanced intelligence, we are able to do it. If there's a browser inconsistency where the browser is not correct or not behaving as per the browser, right, that also we are able to detect it. So if it's a volumetric session, we are able to detect it. So what I'm trying to tell that these are targeted bot control which provides you a comprehensive protection from those sophisticated or advanced bot, and this requires a little bit of SDK integration, and we provide you those SDK which we can integrate if you have a mobile application. If not, we give you a JavaScript which you can directly integrate on your front end if you're having a web application. And this cryptographic token, this process is done by those challenge requests which we have seen in the previous slide. This is how the targeted bot control advanced features or comprehensive features look like. All right, now let's see how the request flow works with this targeted bot. On a similar line that we saw from the common bot, it's a similar behavior, but there's something interesting as we talked about. Before even coming to the rule engine, right? You can have a challenge action. So you will have a couple of rules, but after that you can have a challenge rule, which will issue a token to the normal user. Once that is done, then it will come to our bot detection. Then after that, you can see we'll do the browser check, we'll do the volumetric analysis, we'll run the ML model. If nothing has been detected, and if it's a genuine client, then obviously it will go to your application by going through the rate limiting. If not, if it is crossing the rate limiting, it will get blocked. So this is how the architecture flow looks like. And if it's a malicious one, it gets detected and it will get blocked then and there itself. It will not even go reach to your application. So this is how targeted bot request flow can help you to detect those malicious or advanced bot. All right. So let's see from a comparison standpoint, what are the prevention we have, or what are the rules, advanced rules that we have available with the WAF. So we have common bot, which detects the bots which are self-explainable, but there are targeted bot which detects those bots which are not self-identifiable or not behaving or they're trying to behave like a human, but they're not human, right? But there are two more rule. I don't have a detailed slide on it. Just want to cover from the understanding perspective. So we have something called account takeover prevention and account creation fraud prevention. So what we have seen with many customers is that there are attackers who go to dark web, procure the credentials. Getting into dark web, buying ID and password is very easy. You just need, there are a lot of ways to do it, right? So once you do that, you can come to any website on their login page and start trying multiple combination of those, right? The idea is to take over the account or get full access to the account. So that is a kind of attacks that we are seeing. So that's why we have something called manage rule. We also procure the dark web credentials from the dark web that we have documented publicly. And if we are finding a similar pattern, and if we are finding an attacker which is doing those activity, we are able to detect them and prevent them with the WAF. And what we have seen with one of the customer, and it's a very interesting case study where the customer was launching something very premium, which was in demand. And the idea is if a new user do the sign up, they get, let's say, $50 off, right? Just giving you a random example. And what we saw as soon as that product was in a launch stage or they were about to go live, and as soon as they go live, they started seeing millions and millions of fake sign up, which was happening just to get those discounts, and they were not genuine users. So these were the account creation fraud, where attackers are creating fake accounts on their website or on their workload, ultimately resulting to overconsumption of database or overconsumption of their resources and bringing down the entire system. So those are the advanced attacks also, which WAPS provides you a comprehensive prevention using this managed rule, like account takeover or account fraud prevention. All right, so we talked about a lot of things on the bot side and the fraud side. How about protection from a DDoS attack? So there is something we have that is something called Shield Advance, which provides you a comprehensive protection from a DDoS attack. So when we talk about Seal Advanced, it comes with 6 variety of feature. One of them is adaptive infrastructure and application protection. So we have something called Seal Basic and Seal Advanced. Seal Basic is nothing but to protect AWS itself, but it will not check for your individual traffic pattern. It will not do a baselining of your traffic pattern, right? So, but Seal Advanced do all of those. Seal Advanced can detect advanced attacks. It can also automatically apply a mitigation on behalf of you without any manual intervention. So let's say if you want to uh, apply Seal Advanced, right? Once you applied that, it will start learning your traffic pattern. When I say traffic pattern, it will learn your volume of the traffic pattern. It will learn the traffic characteristic, whether this IP has came before or it is coming first time. If it is coming first time, from where it is coming, all those characteristic of the traffic, it will learn it and it will create a baseline out of it. Once the baseline is created, it will keep on monitoring your traffic pattern. And if there's a deviation from the baseline, it can automatically deploy that advanced rule on behalf of you without doing any manual intervention, without doing anything. So these are the advancement, or these are the advanced technique which advanced uses to provide you a comprehensive protection. Also, you get 24/7 support from it. There is something called AWS SEAL response team. This team is dedicated to prevent DDoS attack day in and day out for Amazon and for our AWS customers. So imagine this team has a lot of those advanced tools and technique to detect the attack faster and respond to the attack faster. So if you're under those attacks and if you need any kind of those support, right, because you can imagine, right, when this attack happens, a lot of things has to be checked, a lot of strategy has to be placed. So if you have access to this team which has those advanced tools and technique, you can think of this team as a extension of a knock team or SOC team. They can come on call, they can help you, they can bring out, they can basically mitigate the attack, they can write a strategy for you, they can do all of those things. And one of the very interesting thing, and I would say about this feature, that is something called cost protection for scaling during an attack. And trust me, this is one of the most unique feature that provided with the Seal Advance. So let's say you are under attack, you're under DDoS attack, right? What happens? Your resource count goes high, your resource consumption goes high, your traffic volume goes high, and at the same time, your billing also goes high. I have seen practically there are customers who are paying $2,000, but because of DDoS attack, their bill for that particular month went to $20,000. But thanks to Seal Advance, they had a Seal Advance so that they got a cost protection. What do I mean by cost protection? Any extra scaling that you do during the time of attack, an extra pricing that you're paying for that scaling will be reimbursed to you as a part of a Seal Advance credit, right? So you don't have to worry. You can scale fearlessly and you can have a very comprehensive protection with the as a feature of the Seal Advance. And one of the other thing is, like, with the basic WAF becomes free, the core capability of the WAF up to 1500 WCU, whatever the rules you are adding, there will be no charges across your organization. So let's say in your organization you have 50 account, right? And all of those accounts you're using WAF and all those, right? And you're paying for that. So instead of that, you can apply a Seal Advance and have a WAF as well, where the basic WAF become free and it gets applied to a organization level. So this is how Seal Advance gives you those benefits and feature and help you to mitigate those DDoS attack in real time. All right, so this was about the Seal Advance, bot control, and fraud control. Now we'll see how quickly you can get started to protect your website today. It's quite simple, right? So whenever you're thinking to protect your application, first and foremost thing is you need to have a well-architected application. If you do not have a well-architected application, it leaves a lot of exposure endpoint, which attackers again uses to craft those attack requests or impact your system. What I have seen, and based on my experience with AWS, a lot of time I see that a lot of customers have exposed the ALB directly over the public internet, even for the HTTP and HTTPS traffic. But we say that instead of exposing ALB directly over the internet, you should use CloudFront, and that should be your first entry point, because ALB can be attached to the CloudFront. That is one thing. And having CloudFront gives you three important things. It provides you performance benefit, it provides you security, and it provides you cost benefit as well. How it provides you cost benefit? CloudFront DTO charges is lesser than the ALB DTO charges. And first TB of data is free always with the CloudFront. And there are other options as well where you can save a lot of cost, like saving bundle, and there are many more. Performance benefit, because if you are deploying ALB, either you can deploy in Hyderabad or Mumbai because it's a regional resource. But when you deploy a CloudFront, it uses our entire edge network or the POP network. In India, we itself have 70 plus POP locations. So imagine if Delhi users are trying to connect to your ALB, right? And you have exposed the ALB directly. Then what will happen? From Delhi to Mumbai, they have to traverse through multiple ISP, multiple POP, multiple hop, then reach to your ALB, and that's how the response follows. So internet ISP is not in our control. It can add a latency, it can obviously add jitter and all. But if you have a CloudFront in front of the ALB, what it does is, since you have those many POP location, 70 plus POP location, Delhi user will get connected to the nearest POP, which might be in the Delhi, right? The first hop would be the ISP, but following that, from following traffic from Delhi to Mumbai will be the AWS backbone network, which is controlled by AWS, maintained by AWS. That's how we are able to improve the performance as well. And how about security? CloudFront automatically comes with a lot of advanced security like SYN proxy. CloudFront is distributed across our pop location. It can handle more and parallelly more requests than ALB. And in ALB, if you start getting DDoS attack, the nature of ALB is ALB starts scaling up, right? And when ALB starts scaling up, there are chances that ALB might lose the communication with WAF. That's why we always say that if you have a ALB front end with CloudFront and apply WAF on the CloudFront, so you get these three benefits: performance, cost, and security. All right, so as we discussed, this is the summary of the things that we have discussed. One click, you can start with the WAF, and it's quite easy to implement bot control, but a little bit more steps you need to follow to apply a targeted bot control. And you can also get complete dashboard out of the box, where you can understand what type of request you are getting, how it is getting blocked. And with this workshop, right, the next slide, I have a workshop where you will see how the dashboard look like, how the request flows look like, right, and everything. And you can also customize the rule based on your requirement. Let's say if you want to inspect particular URL, if you want to apply a rate limiting, block certain countries, allow something, block something, everything you can customize it based on your need, right? So let's jump into workshop now. So this all I had with respect to presentation. Uh, Before we get into workshop, Devans, I want to understand that whether there any question on the chat, or I'm happy to take any questions from the audience.
All right. If you have any questions, please raise your hands. All right. Yeah, I see a question. Just a moment, Deva.
Mhm.
Hi, can you hear me?
Hi, you can go ahead and ask your question.
Hi, Devansh. Thank you for sharing this. This is very helpful, very practical tips that you shared. So, thank you again for that. I have two questions. If you can kindly shed some light on that. The
Yep.
first one is how to mitigate attacks like SQL injection and OWASP top 10 and all that. I
Mhm.
think we covered a lot around bots and these things, but we also sometimes see attacks which are not volumetric in nature, but these are uh,
Mhm.
like some people just trying to do run through like
Yep.
a sequence of URL
Mhm.
structures and such. So SQL
No, I
injection.
agree. I agree with you. I started with that, but my focus was on bot and fraud
Right.
and DDoS. But we have a rule for that in AWS WAF, and this workshop will tell you how to do that. But I'm just giving you the overview since you asked the question. So there's a rule called SQLi injection attack, which is essentially designed for detecting those SQL attacks. So, for example, if you're aware of OS top 10, which publish those top 10 attack like cross-site scripting, SSRF, LFI, RFI, and all, right? So
Right.
we have a managed rule for that. You don't have to write individual rule to prevent that. That's how we are doing heavy of lifting. If you're
Mm,
applying a WAF, there is something called core rule set. If you just apply that, you're sorted. You're prevented from OS top 10 attack. Then there's a SQLi rule. If you just apply that, you're prevented from SQLi attack. So this is how you can design your application to prevent from all these sort of attacks.
okay, great. And the second question I had is how is this offering different from Cloudflare? Some of our customers have used Cloudflare before,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
if you could just give me a broad, like
Yeah.
a summary of how this is
So
different.
we get a lot of questions and many questions from many customers that how are we different from Cloudflare and Akamai, right? So because if you see in the market, these are two main provider, like three main provider, like including AWS, but we have like Akamai and Cloudflare as well. And one of the
Correct.
things which stands us out is our threat intel, right? Because if you have a good data of threat intel, we are able to provide a better protection or a comprehensive protection. That's all I
Mm,
can say, because I explained about the threat intel, how we are doing those threat intel, what intelligence we have put in order to gather those threat intel. It is immense, and the kind of data that we are sitting on is a gem, right? That's how we are able to provide the comprehensive protection. If I have to
mm,
go very specific, so for example, when you would be experimenting with this workshop, you will get a WAF console access, right? There you will
Mm,
see something called AWS or Amazon IP reputation rule. That is from our threat intel. So Amazon IP reputation rule, trust me, I have seen practically it has mitigated lot many attacks. Obviously, I cannot name the customer. Just
mm,
applying that rule has prevented a lot of attacks. And why we are and how we are able to achieve that, as I
mm,
explained, because we have sensors placed, we are detecting those IPs which are doing malicious attempt or which are performing DDoS or which is behaving abnormally. And
mm.
using those intel, we are able to provide that in our rule. So that's how
Oh,
we differ, and that's how we are able to give the comprehensive protection.
understood. Understood. Thank you so much for that. That's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you for asking.
Any other questions, guys? All right. Yeah, I think that's it, Devansh. We don't have any other questions.
All right. So what I will do is, this is the QR code. You can scan it, and my suggestion would be to open it in on your laptop. And this is the link as well. So once you open it, you can essentially go to the workshop, and this is how the workshop will look like. So once you open the link, you have to go here, join it, and this is the event access code, which is already embedded in that QR code. Once you join the event, this is how the things will look like. And if you see the left side hyperlink, this gives you the access to the AWS account, right? And it's opening up. While it's open up, you can see there are instruction which has given over here. And this instruction talks about how you can approach this workshop. And this workshop is self-paced. You can do at your own pace. You can experiment with it. As someone asked me, like, how you can prevent SQL injection attack, it has been covered over here. How I can prevent bot attacks, what are the bot capabilities, these all have been covered very briefly over here. So as you can see on my screen, once I access this, what you need to do first is just go to cloud formation template. I'm just giving you a brief overview so that you can do it at your own pace. This would be available for next 3 days. So once you go to cloud formation template, you will see there is something called WAF workshop. Just have to go to outputs. Once you go to output, this is the application, the dummy application which has been deployed on your in each of the individual account. And this is the application we are trying to protect. So this is the application we are trying to protect. And if you see this takes you to the WAF console, the second link. The third link shows the progress. So if you see over here, there are multiple things which are red in now. Since I access the dashboard, it has become green. So as soon as you start protecting your application from cross-site scripting attack, SQL injection attack, common bot attack, and all these attacks will start becoming green. And how to do that? So these are the steps we need to follow. First, it will tell you how you can participate. Then these are the workshop architecture. It will talk about, you have to read each of them one by one so that you can understand what are we trying to achieve. And once you go into remediate section, after following all these are the scenario which will be given to you. So for example, your security team has ranked protection against common attacks such as cross-site scripting, SQL injection, path traversal as a high priority. Your task is to use WAF to reduce these attacks coming to your application. Then it will give you the instruction how to do that. So this will be very, very helpful if you're trying to learn about WAF, and if you want to, if you're evaluating what are the capabilities WAF provides you. So please follow this at your own pace, right? Because it will take at least 2 to 3 hours to complete. So you need a peaceful environment and time to follow this. But trust me, if you're able to follow this, you will get a comprehensive understanding what are the capability and what are the things WAF do to provide you this comprehensive protection. So thank you all for joining. That's all from my side. I'll stop sharing my screen and over to you, Devansh.
Perfect. Wow, what an incredible session, Devansh. Thank you for your time and sharing all the information today. I hope you're all as energized as I am after this fruitful session. So, thank you for joining us today. We look forward to connecting with you further and helping you unlock the full potential of serverless on AWS, sorry, WAF on AWS. So, don't hesitate to reach out if you have any other further questions. So you can email us at sales@cloud.in. So additionally, we would like to get your feedback on the session to improve the experience. I request you to share the feedback through the link shared in the chat box. Thank you and have a wonderful day.